That's right, for the first time in 8 weeks, there's no race this weekend. Whew. Get the rest of the legs a bit. Instead though, we're in spectating mode today. Heading to Belfast to spectate the Belfast City Christmas 5K. First of all though, I want to talk about these. Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. Start off here at Belfast City Hall, talk about the headline specs which I put just here on the screen. But to sum up, the same 8mm drop, same PowerRunPB foam that everyone loves so much in version 3 and 4, and the nylon plate still in here. And after the 100 kilometers I've put now in these shoes, I can confirm they're softer and bouncier than version 4 and a real return to form for those of you who loved version 3. Talk more about it, let's go and have a sit down. But as I always say, far more important than the stats on screen is how the shoe actually feels on the run. Start off then talking about this shoe's midsole, how it feels on the run. And the midsole, of course, fully comprised of Saucony's PowerRunPB foam the whole way through this shoe, with an infused nylon plate which makes it less harsh than the Pro model of this shoe with its carbon plate. This nylon plate then, which gives you a little spring but is much less harsh when you run. And for reference then, for those of you who run in the version 4 of this shoe, the foam has definitely been tuned to be that bit softer, definitely closer to version 3, which I love so much, and this is how mine look after 600 miles. One of my favourite shoes of 2023, this one. This then has gone back closer to the versatility of that shoe. The midsole itself is that little bit softer. The nylon plate and the speed roll rocker here still keeps you rolling through the stride. And this winged portion of the nylon plate just keeps the shoe a bit more stable, stops rolling in quite as much. For me, definitely a bit more stable than the Evo SL I gushed over so much halfway through the year in the review of that shoe. This kind of reminds me of that shoe, a more stable version of it on the run. It feels like you're still getting a similar energy return to the Evo SL, but with more stability. You're kind of more straight through the stride rather than kind of bouncing off at different angles. And with that familiar 8mm drop as well, you roll through from heel to toe very, very efficiently. For me then, the main difference between this and the version before, the version 4, is with the extra bit of width here at the bottom and the slightly softer midsole foam, is the fact that this doesn't punish you when you want to slow down. Version 4 had more of a race fit, a bit more firm. It definitely propelled you through a bit more than this shoe does. It's a bit more bouncy as opposed to the firmness of version 4 and the narrowness. I think this is more accommodating for, yes, faster and tempo runs, but you can also run easy in this shoe and it won't punish you. It actually feels really nice at that pace. One of my first runs in this actually was Antrim Coast Half Marathon when I was pacing 2:15, so a little bit off what would be my race pace, and this felt absolutely fantastic all the way through it. Supportive at that slightly slower pace, but also just a real nice bounce to it as well. The second major run I used for this was the Berlin 5K, when again I was going a little bit faster, and again it just gave me everything I needed back off it without feeling harsh. I wanted to keep my feet fresh for obviously the marathon the next day, and this shoe really delivered in spades that day. Again, comfortable, supportive, stable and bouncy. So that kind of sums up how it rides. Rolls through really nicely, the foam's that little bit softer, and the nylon plate gives you that little bit of help without being as harsh as the carbon plate. What about the rest of the shoe though? So onto the upper then, and I think this upper is a real improvement on the 3 and 4. First of all, on the 3, it's a lot more breathable here at the front. You can actually see through this piece. The 3 could sometimes get a bit warm, so for me that's an improvement over the 3. And in terms of the 4, apart from being very narrow in the midsole, there wasn't much volume for the toes in the toe box. There's a lot more space here for your toes, so a lot more relaxed for those sort of easier runs, not such a dialed in race fit, which I think for the versatility element of this shoe is a real positive. Finally then, onto the outsole of the shoe, this XT900 rubber the Saucony puts in the bottom of this shoe grips so well. It covers all the high impact zones on the bottom of this shoe. You can see some exposed foam, but there's not much wear at all there. You actually see right through here to the yellow, it'll cut out to the yellow nylon plate, which again helps save a wee bit of weight on the shoe. It's really much improved on version 4 of the shoe. I've taken this across various races on wet ground, on wet leafy ground as well, and it grips so well. Park runs this shoe is just made for. I don't think it's going to perform quite as well on grass, but even on wet leaves, for me, never had a problem. Overall then, from top to bottom, this shoe is a massive step up, I feel, from the Speed 4, and it runs so well. From top to bottom, that transition the whole way through the shoe helps it run so well. Some might say it runs better than, well, you know. Back in out of the cold then, and just to talk about, in conclusion, probably the most important part of any shoe these days, and that is the price. Does this shoe represent value in today's market with so many similar shoes competing at a similar price point, offering quite a similar experience in the sort of super trainer category? And initially, like when I bought these, I would struggle with it because their RRP was around £170, and around that you have the likes of the Nike Zoom Fly 6, and of course, as I mentioned so many times, the Adidas Evo SL, which undercut this quite significantly. But as we move into Black Friday weekend, Cyber Monday, etc., you can find these on the likes of Start Fitness, Pro Direct, even sports shoes for around £115, maybe nudging towards the low £100 mark. And I think that makes a significant difference to the value offered by these shoes. I would say if you can pick these up around the £100 mark, absolutely 100% go for it, because you're going to get a lot of miles out of these. You're going to get pretty good stability, as I mentioned before, out of the platform here, the wing plate, and yeah, lovely colours too. There's a number of colours here on sale, as well as this really good colourway. There are a number of others on Start Fitness at a really good price. So yeah, if you can get these around the £100 mark, I think they're a fantastic value, because again, they'll run easy, they'll run your tempo, speedier runs, and you can still race in these. And that really does bring me to the conclusion on this review. If you can get these shoes around the RRP, £170, there's probably better options out there in terms of value. But if you can get them down near the £100 mark, £105 mark, you can see here in Start Fitness, I say go for it. Between this and the Evo SL, if you need stability, look at these. If you want a bit more of a wild ride, Evo SL all the way. So that's my thoughts on the Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. I almost feel like going for a run in them now after talking about them so much, but we're not going to. Instead, let's go back outside and spectate the Belfast City Christmas 5K.